Welcome to the Doug and Commiss Show. I'm Doug from the Doug and Commiss Show, here with special guest Chris from Eric Hippel's Nipples. Chris, you know, it's great to put a face to the champion. Let me congratulate you, because I did not think that you were going to be of any competition to me, the rest of the league. So first of all, let me apologize for that. But also, congratulations on being a champion. That's a true test to make it through 16 games in a rigorous fantasy football league and do what you did. So congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. And thank you for having me on your show.
Oh,
as
yeah.
a guest as well.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I was hoping for like this music to be like "We Are the Champions," something a
Oh,
little more appropriate.
You know, we talked to Queen about that, and you know, it just wasn't really working out with the
It's
band.
been done before.
It's been done. So
right.
We go with the Electric Samurai. For
Yeah,
those
that's
of you
good
who
stuff.
care.
Good stuff.
But anyway, your season was an up and down season. You finished the season at 6-7 and made it into the playoffs. That's true. I mean, a lot of people don't think a below 500 team should make it into the playoffs.
Well,
but you had some up and down. Tell me about your season.
Well, 500 team, below 500, but you know, there's a lot of things that go into that record. You know, depending on division for one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, us in the Shula division, you know, we play the top competition every week.
It's like the SEC of fantasy football.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, other divisions, you know, the null. I mean, what's that, minor league?
Yeah, it's terrible.
And Lombardi is just a bunch of posers anyway.
Yeah,
so.
kind of like a Big Ten.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It hurts to say that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, so your season was up and down. But did you feel like there was a turning point in your season that you were able to turn around and feel like you were comfortable in the playoffs, or were you just thinking, I don't know if I'm going to make it in?
I think in week 5 there was a game against Trash.
Mm-hmm.
To get that win, that was my 3rd win in a row. To go after week 5, 3-2.
Yeah.
I'm on the plus side now, in the victory column, and I think that was a big win. That was kind of the turning point of the season. At that point, like, you know what, these guys can do this.
I mean, beating Trash is a big thing.
Oh yeah, they were coming together. McNabb, you know, leading this group of guys.
Mm-hmm.
They were really gelling. The chemistry was coming about. And that was, I think, the turning point for the season. You know, the first 2 weeks were winnable games. I mean, the competition was tough.
Yeah.
But they were close, and you know, those go your way. All of a sudden, you're 5-0, and you're looking at almost in the playoffs.
Because I mean, really, you lost the first game by 10, the next game by 14. That's not terrible. And then you end up getting a big win. So then you go on a little bit of a winning streak, get a loss, win, and a couple losses. Well, weeks 8 through 10 were pretty rough for you. I mean, did you have to think, like, right around then, I don't think I'm going to make this?
Yeah, you know, injuries were setting in. The guys were getting beat up a little bit.
Yeah, bye weeks to deal with.
There were some bye weeks in there. They were starting to tune the coach out a little bit. Maybe you know, the message was getting old, but you know, they got their stuff together. Yeah. They came back and they had to gear up for the Shula matchups the next few weeks. They did it. They got their work
definitely.
in.
Well, let me ask you this: your game against nappy-headed foe, 101 to 101, with it going to bench points. I mean, that had to be a huge step for you to think like, wow, I could make this. It's starting to be magical now, because nobody. I mean, let's be honest with each other. Not one single person looking at your draft said, this guy's going to make it. I mean, Steven predicted you at 2 wins. 2. He gave you an F for a draft grade.
It just shows me he's a moron.
Yeah, and I mean, well, the best part probably for you was beating him and making him eat his words in a championship game.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I mean, he had 4 losses this year. 2 of them were to you.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
Just gotta get used to it.
Not impressed,
hey.
Stephen. You know, if he was in the Shula, he probably would have finished 2-12.
Yeah,
like, whatever it was, too.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm fine with that. Well, let me ask you this: who do you think was your best player? Or let me not put your best player, but who did you feel like was a total surprise to your team that you did not expect points out of? Because I got somebody who I have in my head of who I was surprised that you had. But go ahead, who you think was your biggest surprise player?
Well, it's a surprise, but it wasn't completely a surprise. Ricky Williams.
That's who I was going to pick.
He was huge, but knowing, Ronald Brown's problems with injuries, you know Ricky's going to get his reps.
Yeah.
And he did it last year.
Yeah.
He is getting older, and he did wear down at the end of the year, but, you know, we knew he was going to put up numbers. We just didn't know that good of numbers. But McNabb, you know, he obviously leader of our team. Yeah. He pulled us through.
And here's the thing, he missed 2 games.
Oh, yeah. You know, Eli stepped right in those 2 games, and he was huge for us. Won both of those games.
No, I agree. And so let me ask you this. Who would your potential keeper be then? If you had to look at your roster right now and the draft is tomorrow and you had to claim a keeper right now, who would you claim?
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts not to keep McNabb. He was so big and captain of the team. You know, he really earned it. But on potential and age, we'd have to go with Calvin Johnson.
Okay. I see what you're saying there. I mean, people are starting to believe in the wide receiver mentality because it's becoming a pass-first league, it seems like.
Well, we saw it with the Beans did.
Yeah, the Beans did okay with the wide receivers. But the problem is like there's not enough running backs out there that are getting 300 carries a year. So you have to be thinking wide receiver. So, but I see what you're saying with Calvin Johnson. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. Now, let me ask you this. Is there any change of rules for the GFO? Obviously, you're new this year. Well, let me ask you this. What did you think about the GFO? I mean, we brought you in pretty kind of late notice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how did you feel about this?
Coming in, I didn't really know what to expect. But, I heard it was a kind of a young league, 2-3 years, whatever it was.
5 years as old is how we are.
There wasn't a lot of respect on my end.
No.
I really underestimated, I think, a lot of the talent that the GM pool had outside of the Knoll division. And I was pleasantly surprised with the talent.
Good. Well, hey, I mean, we were glad to have you. I mean, you participated on the board. Obviously, you made some trades. You stuck your team really together as a core, from your draft, even as bad as everyone said your draft was. But is there any potential changes that you want to see? Or are you pretty satisfied with what? I mean, you got your victory. Everyone won a championship.
Whatever the rules are, we're going to, the Hippos will put together a winning strategy, and we'll be right there at the end again. And
it's better than what I was hearing.
I'm getting a little hot.
We can... Up. Wow! Look, folks, this is. You can go ahead and show the camera that. Let me see here. The GFO. What does that say? Hold that up there.
It's the official championship.
Wow!
Here,
you got to go there.
There we go.
Wow, that is tremendous. I appreciate you sharing that. And I mean, the only thing I was upset about is there's no Shula anywhere there, but maybe there will be on one in the back. Not a big deal. But somebody said that you have rings.
We did. We ordered the rings after the second round of the playoffs. When we knew we were playing trash, we put our order in right away.
Once you showed up.
We knew. Wait, where's our camera?
Right there.
Wow,
look at that ring. Little bling.
Bringing the bling. The Hippos are bringing the bling.
Hey, we like it. Okay, so no potential changes. Well, let me ask you this, and we'll be finishing up here. Your most hated GM that you have? Do you have one? I know you're kind of new.
Yeah, a little new. I thought going into this, Steven would be my hated GM, because obviously I have a relationship there with him, know him pretty well. And a lot of animosity with other GMs that they obviously pick him. I don't get it though. I just don't get it because he's.
You're not fearful of him.
I'm not fearful of him. He's a lot like a lot of bark, no bite, kind of.
He gets that a lot. He's got little ears too.
Little ears.
Yeah.
Kind of yippy and.
So do you have a most hated GM, or are you just pretty much like?
I tried making you that GM, Doug. Yeah. But it just couldn't happen. It just didn't happen.
I was trying to take the bait a couple times, but we'll see. Well, the divisional rivalry will start picking up here, but. The Eric Estrada thing might have put me over the edge for next year. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, so is there any potential changes to your team next year? Or are you pretty happy with what you got? Are you going to change your draft strategy? That's the first thing.
Yeah, going into the draft this year, our strategy was to stockpile picks. We did that. It worked out fairly well.
Yeah.
If another deal presented itself in a similar fashion where we could load up and we felt it was a good move, we would do it again. But there's we're not locked in any one way. We're gonna roll with it and see how it goes. And
okay.
Go on the fly.
Hey, I like it. Well, again, Chris, thanks for stopping by. Congratulations again, my friend. And hopefully you have a successful off season. I know she came in with a hooded sweatshirt and a hat on. You come from practice, or you guys already working on next year?
You guys are fired up and they're ready to roll.
Well,
we'll make it back to back.
All right, I understand that. All right. Well, Doug and Commish Show is Doug, Chris. We'll be back another time with some more GMs to finish up our end of the year review.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep.